where the current pastor is the Reverend John Sylvia. At the church, she serves on the Finance Committee and the Board of Trustees and is involved in multiple organizations within the church. And whereas Mrs. Wiggins raised and nurtured 10 children as a single mother who worked diligently to make sure that they were all educated and prepared to become productive citizens of society, she made sure that they all would become self-sustaining future leaders in a variety of areas in society and be able to address the issues confronting our community. And whereas Mrs. Wiggins attended and graduated from nursing school while raising her children so that they all could have a better life. She had property purchased and built a 6-bedroom home for herself and her children to move them to an area where they could all flourish. She received her nursing degree and became a private duty nurse and also worked as an LPN at Charleston General Hospital for many years before retiring at the age of 65. And whereas Mrs. Wiggins is the best of mothers, a good, dear friend to many, and a compassionate caregiver, Mrs. Wiggins has been and remains to be an inspiration to all who know her, including her devoted family. And whereas Mrs. Wiggins in her earlier years worked diligently at 3 jobs to make sure that her children were provided and cared for. And whereas Mrs. Wiggins' children, Sandra, Carolyn, William, Kathy, Christy, Larry, Ethel, Vonda, Viola, and Jeffrey have all received post-secondary training and/or a degree in higher learning and are productive citizens in their respective cities and were raised in the fear and admonition of the Lord. And whereas Mrs. Wiggins is a grandmother to Tamara Green, Amy, Giovanna, Dr. Carrie Wiggins, Kia, Cabrina, Ryan, Natalie, Angela, Ramish, Larry, Christopher, Richie, Bridget, Addison, Ronsford, Danielle, Amora, Anicia, Lance, Gabriel, and Oser. All of her grandchildren are currently working on or have already received post-secondary training and/or a degree in higher learning and/or doctorates in a variety of areas and are productive citizens in their respective cities and were raised in the fear and admonition of the Lord. And whereas Mrs. Wiggins is the great-grandmother to Ayanna, Demetria, Athena, Joshua, Elizabeth, Andrew, Carrington, Timothy, Roderick, Zion, Xavier, Zane, who are being raised by their parents to become productive citizens in society in their respective cities, being raised in the fear and admonition of the Lord. And whereas Mrs. Wiggins loves the Lord and worships Him in everything that she says and does, and raised her children to do the same. And whereas Mrs. Wiggins believes the Bible to be the inspired and the only infallible Word of God, and that Jesus is the eternal Son of God. And whereas Mrs. Wiggins has compassion and commitment for her community, and this is evident in the many caring ways she shares her time, support, vision, and leadership. Therefore, the House of Delegates of the West Virginia Legislature hereby recognizes Mrs. Alberta Jean Wiggins and thanks her for the many years that she has so tirelessly given of her talents, her time, and her support to her community and to her state, and directs this citation be presented in her honor.
The members would please be at ease a few moments while I formally present the citation.
Thank you again.
Town numbers. He wants numbers.
Look at all. Could you get all them people in the Civic Center at one time?
Barely.
You'd probably be crowded, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
Come back down and see.
I will.
Hi.